Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for the support on my last full day of eating. It really means a lot, especially for the debut video. Today I'm actually going to flip the tables on you guys and do the reverse. So whereas last time I did a high day at 525 carb, I'm going to do a low day now at 250 carb, 50 grams of fat, 250 protein. So like less than half the amount of carbohydrates that I had last time. So basically what my goal is for today is run you through all my meals and give you some tips along the way. And I'll basically be like formalizing those tips after each meal. So stick around for the full video because after each one, I'll give a few little bits and pieces as to why I've made the decisions that I have. And I want it to be a bit unique. So I don't want to just say be in an energy deficit because that's very generic and everyone kind of knows that. I would rather give you a few little helpful tips that work for me, that work for Tierra, that work for our clients as well. That's a bit out of the ordinary. And sure, some of you might know what these are, but I'm hoping that a lot of you will get a lot of use out of it. So without further ado, let's get stuck on with breakfast. Basically, when it comes to breakfast, I find that having a larger meal to start the day will set you up really well. And there is even some research to indicate that it'll make you more active throughout the day and therefore you'll expend more energy. So it really does set you up nicely. So this is my largest meal of the day. It's around like 850 calories and it's called overnight oats. So it contains a few ingredients, oats, chia seeds, cinnamon, protein powder. Combine that with some water, cook it in the microwave and chuck it in the fridge overnight. And you'll be rewarded with like a really thick, almost really dense consistency, which is nice because you can get a lot of volume out of it and with lower calories. So it's a similar volume to my high day meal, but it's like, I think 400 or 500 calories less. So this is the finished product. So yeah, I'm sure many of you have seen oats before, but this is what it looks like. Really dense. As you can see, it's like not even falling out of the bowl. And basically what I'm gonna do from here, heat this up in the microwave, chuck some yogurt on it, chuck some frozen strawberries on it. Frozen strawberries are great because they're really, really low on calories, if you didn't know. And then I'm going to enjoy it. Okay, so breakfast is ready and I've topped it with the yogurt and the strawberries. If you kind of look a little bit cross-eyed at it and distort your vision, it kind of looks like a little cake with some nice cream cheese icing on the top and some glazed cherries, but it does taste really good and I enjoy this meal a lot. I've been having it for a few weeks now. And another little tip is actually how you eat your food. So as you can see, this is my off-season spoon here and my prep spoon. So the prep spoon is a lot smaller. It actually slows down how you eat and there is hunger signaling. So if you eat your food really quickly, that hunger signaling isn't going to kick in for an extended period. Whereas if you slow your eating period down, then you're going to be more satiated by the time you finish. So that's a little tip. And obviously the utensils that you eat will help that dramatically. And there's even been some research in the hospitals where we did our placement where what you eat out of and what you eat with really does affect how much patients eat because they want patients to eat more. And if they gave someone a small plate that was completely full to the brim, they wouldn't eat all of it. But if they gave someone the exact same amount of food, but on a bigger plate so that it wasn't crammed to the edges, they would actually eat much more of the food or even all of it. So it's very interesting how we eat and what we eat with influences our food psychology. So I'm gonna eat this and I'll check back with you in for the next meal or for whatever Tierra and I decide to do next. So yeah, breakfast is all done and I'll probably be having 4 meals today. I find that there is a fine balance between having too many meals, like say 7 meals and not really feeling that satiated after each one versus having 3 or 4 bigger meals and feeling nice and full after each one. And of course, what foods you eat, like you can see what I had in this. I didn't exactly have any maple syrup on top or I didn't chuck any dried fruit in there. And I had strawberries instead of apple or blueberries even because I basically choosing those lower calorie, more voluminous foods to basically make every gram of protein, carbs and fats count. I didn't even have like a direct fat source in this meal, like peanut butter on top, because I want to save that for another meal when I might be a bit hungrier, especially since the oats already contain a decent amount of fat. So Tia and I, we're going to go for a walk with the dogs. It's definitely a very normal morning routine for us, especially with it being a rest day. And we might film a few clips of there. We have a really nice park right next to our house, so I'll catch you guys soon.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so back from the walk. We had a really good time. We do those every morning, especially in prep, because they just rack up the steps. The dogs love it. It is very hot though here in Australia. It's really humid, so sweating a buttload. And I'm probably just gonna get stuck into some work this morning, get some things ticked off. I'll have a posing lesson as well with one of my good friends and mentor, Alan Mao. So I'll check in with you guys then. But yeah, those walks, I must admit, are pretty crazy for bringing out the leg veins, especially after a big breakfast full of carbohydrates. So it's always nice to see your progress paying off. But yeah, see you guys soon. So just wrapped up some posing, did some work this morning as well, and it's time for meal 2 of the day. So some of you might recognize this from my last video. It's cream of wheat again, but with a twist. And so basically what I've done is added some cocoa, reduced the flour content. I haven't added the banana, and still added some cinnamon, and I added more protein to this one. So what that helps is it helps thicken it up, especially with the extra cocoa as well. Adds that chocolatey taste. And as you can see, like the volume is still decent, so it's about 2/3 of the bowl there. And yeah, it's a delicious meal. I really like this one. I'm also adding some peanut butter and a little bit of chicken on the side as well for some extra protein. And I'm going even smaller with the spoon as well, just to take my time with eating this one. So this is my second most carbohydrate dense meal of the day. And guess what? It's earlier in the day, meal 2. And my last 2 meals will be more voluminous than this one. So I'm gonna chuck some peanut butter on here, heat up some chicken, and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So guys, just wrapped up my lunch and joined by a black coffee here, which I look forward to every day at this stage. Just gives me a little bit of a boost on those rest days. And I just wanted to do some quick fire rapid points in regards to fat loss and weight loss and making it a bit easier for you guys. So I don't want to be talking for too long here, otherwise it gets a bit boring. So first point is protein. So protein, try and get a total amount per day, for example, around 2 to 2.5 grams per kilo of body weight. So for me, I'm trying to aim for 250 grams per day, which is a bit on the higher side. It's almost closer to 3 grams per kilo of body weight. Within that daily protein intake, you should be distributing it into around like 3 to 5 different boluses. So that could be breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack. So that's like 50 grams in each of those amounts. And you should also be acknowledging the protein quality. So what I mean by that is it a complete protein? Does it contain all the amino acids that you need, all the essential amino acids, the amount of leucine that you require? It'll then spike muscle protein synthesis throughout the day, which is really important for recovery and for preserving your lean muscle mass too. So if you have any questions about that, just put them into the comments and of course I'll answer them. The second major point is in relation to your dietary fat intake. So when you have dietary fat with a meal, it actually slows down gastric emptying, so you'll be less hungry for longer. And that's good, of course, because it delays hunger, compared to having something like a piece of white bread. If you add peanut butter on that, you'll find that you'll delay your hunger for slightly longer. And I basically try and apply that to every meal. So I don't just have 50 grams of fat in one meal. I try and have anywhere from like 10 to 15. And some people might make the argument that, especially post-workout and pre-workout, you should be avoiding fat because it does slow down the absorption and digestion. But I would argue that in a dieting phase, you're kind of missing the bigger picture, because if you're hungry 10 minutes later, it's going to really impact your training session and your post-workout and your sleep, all that kind of stuff. So those are the two things to consider: protein intake, protein distribution, protein quality, and your dietary fat intake throughout the day as well. So guys, it's around 3:30 p.m. and it's time for meal 3 of the day. And basically I'll describe what I have here and what I have made and how I've made it. So some pumpkin mixed with some frozen broccoli and cauliflower. Then I just added some salt, pepper, and smoky paprika. Great combo. And then on the right is some VPA egg whites, which I blended using the stick blender. I've then just cooked it in the frying pan without any oil, and I just topped it with some avo. So you can see a few of the tips that I've made coming together here. So I've got some fat, I've got some protein, I've got some very satiating food sources here, which are high volume, and I've got my little teaspoon there. And yeah, so I wanted to add one of the more final recommendations I have for weight loss. And this is actually a prime example of what that recommendation is. It's called palatability. So palatability is basically how good something tastes. And in a weight loss phase, I think people are really drawn to trying to make things very palatable. Like, for example, they'll put sugar-free maple syrup on something, or they put a ton of sweetener in something. And what that does is it makes you look forward to that meal, it makes you really enjoy that meal, but then you spend the rest of the day thinking about that meal. So the good thing about this one is, like, I'm hungry enough to really enjoy this, but I don't spend my day dreaming about this combo of pumpkin and cauliflower and broccoli, but I'm hungry enough to enjoy it. So it really does do the job. It gives me food, it gives me nutrients, and I feel good after it. It gives me energy, but I'm not focusing my whole day looking forward to my egg whites and avocado. So that's just something to think about with your own nutrition if you are losing weight. Don't try and make everything super fancy and super tasty, because if you're hungry enough, it's going to taste pretty damn good regardless. We're back for the 4th and final meal of the day. Tiara and I just wrapped up a podcast episode. It was great. We had a great talk about our Road to 2021 series. And yeah, let's get cracking with the final meal, and I'll show you what we're working with. So basically a load of veg here, some more veg here, green beans. These ones I have frozen. Got some kangaroo. For those of you who aren't from Australia, kangaroo is a pretty popular protein source here. Tastes similar to any other sort of red meat. And we have an egg here, which is my fat source, and I just scramble that and chuck it in with everything. It adds to the flavor and the texture. And just some more herbs and spices here. So salt, pepper, curry powder, and paprika. So basically what I do is chop all of this up, cook it all together, nothing fancy at all. It kind of ties in with that palatability thing, the satiation, the fat source, the protein source. So I try and tick all those boxes when I'm on these low days, and it just gets in all my veg, really hits my fiber. Well, I'm well over my fiber targets already, but that's what I do every day. And it means I don't get hungry during the evening, and I can go to bed with a nice full stomach, but not too full, and wake up and begin again. So I'll get cracking, make this, and show you the finished product. Okay, so here we have the completed product, and nothing special, I know. It's just a bunch of veg, some protein, and a fat source, but at this stage of prep, this is really what I need to get me through. Just a big bowl of food that'll fill me up and keep me satiated for the rest of the evening and the night. So I think something that is really underrated is being satiated throughout the night, because you don't want to wake up and have very average sleep because of hunger pangs or hypoglycemia, for example. So I'm really grateful that I do like this veg and I can look forward to eating this, even though it's not as palatable as something like my cream of wheat. But I did want to finish on 2 more tips to give you guys for your weight loss journeys. And the first one, ironically, is actually have a good think about whether you actually do need to lose weight. Because like there's a lot of you, especially maybe some younger individuals or people who want to tone, that maybe you just need to get more muscle before you decide to cut back first. Because you got to think about it, okay, what am I going to gain by losing weight? Because you're not going to gain any muscle, and that's what a lot of you are looking for. So often losing weight is just going to put you on a path of ups and downs. So sure, some people really do need to lose weight if they're overweight or obese, or if you're going through a comp prep or so on and so forth. There are some genuine reasons for losing weight, but maybe focus on weight gain and muscle gain first. So my second point is don't compare your A to someone's B, or don't compare yourself to other people in general, because people are going to lose weight on different numbers. Like, as you can see here, I'm losing weight on 250 carb, 250 protein, 50 fat. Sure, there's some, let's say like a 45 kilo female who hasn't been training for very long. That might be the macros that she needs to gain weight in the off season, or the most she's ever eaten in a day. So don't compare yourself to other people in regards to what they need to do to lose weight, because everyone is different. So I really hope that you guys can take away something, if not from the meals that I've eaten, then for some of the tips that I've given you. Please feel free to ask me anything in the comments below, and I'm basically going to wrap up here. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did learn anything, please remember to give this video a like. It really helps the channel grow. Leave a comment, share it if you want it as well. Tick the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.